You're trivializing impeachment. And I tell you what, someday there'll be a Democrat president and there'll be a Republican House, and I suspect they're going to remember it. Because when you use impeachment for absolutely nothing other than to try and get political gain.
The president warning the shoe may be on the other foot pretty soon if the power shifts in Washington. In the meantime, let's get to Congressman Steve Scalise. He, of course, is the House Minority Whip, joining us this morning from Louisiana. Good morning, sir.
Morning. Good to be with y'all.
What's your sense of where we are? Because, you know, Democrats started out with this idea that there was bribery, that there was quid pro quo. They poll tested all of that. And then here they are with the articles of impeachment. And as you know, they're just broad brush, no specific crimes allegedly committed.
Yeah, their biggest problem is that they never started with facts. That's how every other impeachment began, where there was an actual crime committed. There's never been a crime in this case. They've tried to find a crime, starting with the Mueller investigation. It's been very clear, and I think you're seeing through it this whole impeachment inquiry. This is a political vendetta. This is all about them, first of all, not liking the fact that Donald Trump was duly elected president in 2016. And frankly, they're scared to death he's going to win again because he's been delivering on his promises. But that's not why you impeach a president. That's why we have an election next year. Let the voters decide this. But there are no facts. There is nothing to impeach this president on. The articles of impeachment that just came out confirm that, and yet instead of giving it up and moving on to things that people really care about, like lowering drug prices and securing our border, it's like their radical base has demanded this the day that Donald Trump got elected office, and they can't help themselves.
Congressman, you know, Nancy Pelosi got her speakership by having a lot of moderate Dems get elected in Trump districts. Here is a congresswoman out of Oklahoma, Kendra Horn, I guess, getting the wrath of voters. So take a look and we'll react on the other end.
2018 has been concentrated on impeach President Trump. We want Congress to get back to work for the American people, please.
But he is a duly elected president, and I feel it is not your responsibility to take somebody that was duly elected out of office. I think you're in a lot of trouble if you vote for this impeachment.
Where was it ever fair to our president, the one we put in that I voted for? And we're mad. We're mad as hell.
You know, Congressman, as Rachel has pointed out, she's not fighting back. She's taking it. And if we're at a place where we're wondering where a lot of these Democrats are going to vote, what does it say about the veracity or the strength of the case Democrats have made here?
Yeah, Kendra Horn there in your example is hearing the same thing a lot of other Democrats are hearing. Look, they're going back home and they're hearing from people saying, you ran saying you were going to be different. You said you were going to work with everybody. And now all you've done is have this obsession against Donald Trump. Not because he broke any laws. The president didn't do anything wrong. The phone call, Zelensky himself said there was nothing wrong. But because you don't like the results of an election. And frankly, you're more afraid of your radical left base in Washington than you are the constituents who elected you back home. That's the real reckoning. Look, every one of these Democrats, if you look at the fact, the clear vote is no. You vote against impeachment on these articles because there is no law broken. The constitutional standard is high crimes and misdemeanor. Here, there's not even a traffic violation. And yet they're still going to do it, not because of the crime, but because they're afraid of the repercussions from the radical left like AOC up in Washington. And that's where they're going to pay a political price. But it's a sad day for our country that it's come to this.
You're in charge in part of trying to get things done and bring, whip the votes and figure out how you move the president's agenda forward. He had a pretty good week between the China trade deal, the defense bill we've been talking about, family leave, other issues he's been pushing. But the fact that Nancy Pelosi, within an hour of announcing the way forward on impeachment, rushed to take credit for USMCA and that trade deal, does that tell you Democrats are pretty desperate right now to try and show they've done something other than impeachment?
It's not only desperation, it's fabrication. Look, President Trump worked for over a year to negotiate a better trade deal with Mexico and Canada. He's the one who negotiated that, not Nancy Pelosi. And by the way, that should have been law months ago. At the beginning of this year, that could have been a law, and over 160,000 new jobs would be created. You know, when people wonder what is the price of impeachment, it's, first of all, it's trampling over our Constitution in the standard of impeachment, but it's all the things that have not gotten done, like USMCA, like lower drug prices. And that's the problem, that they haven't delivered for the American people. But luckily, President Trump has delivered and continues to.
Yeah, no, you're right.
Well, maybe passing that USMCA might be one of the only good things to come out of all this.
Yeah.
Maybe it wouldn't have happened had it not been for impeachment and they felt the pressure. So.
Yeah, Congressman, you mentioned parking tickets, traffic tickets. The motorcade better not violate any policies, or we might get a third article of impeachment before this is all done. Congressman, thank you for your time this morning.
No telling.
We appreciate it.
Great being
Merry
with
Christmas,
you.
Congressman.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.